it's just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. And if you wanna be a chef, then I say cook it up. And if you wanna be the champ, well I say hook it up. Cause I can never tell you what you can't be. Yes I can, see a failure is something you can't be. Plus, I get you a shuttle if you feel that you need space. The sky's the limit, get you wings for your birthday. Whatever makes you happy, if you like it, then I love it. Turning nothing into something, I'm all in and I ain't bluffing. I'm who you got when the world ain't got your back, man. I pull over when life puts you in the fast lane. I'm in your corner like Bandini, if you tumble, I tell you like him. Rumble, young man, rumble, see.
What's happening, man? What's going on with y'all? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, right? So, here's the question. Which one, like which black man has the freedom of speech? And I think it's an interesting question because at the end of the day, not many or not any. Now, first comment, gay black men, black comedians, rappers have the most freedom of speech, hands down. Well, I can agree with the gay black men thing. Gay black men can say anything, and I mean anything, as long as it's disparaging straight black men. They can say anything. Anything else, not so much. You know, gay black men can't go in on black women, and so you know their freedom of speech they got a leash on them suckers. But black comedians, that's what the whole cancel culture is for. Black comedians and rappers are just, you know, getting the feel of what it's like to lose your freedom of speech. Because, you know, you can't make all the jokes you used to make or they're going to try to cancel you. I mean, now, you know, like with the Netflix telling people, look, man, y'all can go on, y'all can go somewhere else. You know, that's a push in the right direction. But, you know, same thing with rappers. It's partially how they all catching these RICO charges because of your freedom of speech and expression. You know, hey, you said you was a gangster, da 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 da. You know, okay, cool, we're gonna charge you like a gangster. You know, but it's freedom of speech. Yeah, it's freedom to lock you up too. So, you know, I did a video about this, but the video is gonna come out maybe 5, 6, 7 days from now. But this was inspired because of, first and foremost, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out, dog. Shout out. You know, you my dog. So he showed a video. He showed 2 videos. One about Jamal Bryant dissing Kevin Samuels and then apologizing, which was interesting. And another about D.L. Hughley saying some things, and I was like, it was borderline shade and trolling, just in my opinion. And I thought about it, and then I was watching something else that had nothing to do with those things, and there was a brother talking about, you know, how, who was that? It was Club Shay Shay. Earthquake was on Club Shay Shay, and he was talking about how what could you know, Richard Pryor and Bernie Mac and those type of comedians be comedians right now, or even Eddie Murphy, could they do the stand-up type things that they did now that they did then, because they had more freedom of speech. And they was like, yeah, they probably could do it. I mean, they're not gonna care. They're not gonna care if they get a network deal or a movie deal. They're still gonna have their audience who wants to see them. Kind of like Corey Holcomb, because he brought up Corey Holcomb as being a fearless comic because of his material. He not backing that down from nobody. And he, you know, and on that note, he is fearless with that. You gotta give him credit. But how many people, when it comes to black men, how much freedom do we get to speak? Let's just be honest. Like, when you look in media, forget social media, how often do you see heterosexual black men talking at all? At all. You know, how many? Like all these, when you get talk shows, are you seeing black men on these talk shows talking? No, not really. You know, it's either young black males, teenagers, to young immature males who might be in the early to mid 20s tops, you know, or, you know, gay black dudes or effeminate black dudes, you know, or you trying to figure out if they are, you know what I'm saying? So you don't see a lot of, you know, grown men having grown conversations. And that's the thing. It's so bad that if you look on television, that's the thing about, like, when people dislike Al Sharpton or Roland Martin, it's like, oh, okay, you're supposed to speak for everybody as if we don't exist. Like, we can't talk for ourselves because they're supposed to be our freedom of speech for everybody. And it's like, no. So let me pivot, you know, from the part I was talking about to this part, politically. Yeah. Can black Democrats actually speak, or black liberals? Do black male liberals have freedom of speech? Or do black male conservatives have freedom of speech? You know, everybody can say that they do, but there's always going to be somebody who's trying to cancel them on either side. So, you know, like I said, black Democrats don't really have freedom of speech, and now black Republicans don't have freedom of speech. And it's interesting because, like I said, you have other sides trying to cancel. So let's start with the obvious, right? The obvious is the black Republican. Oh, you a coon. Oh, you a sellout. Oh, black conservative. Oh, you a tool for the white man's white supremacy, brother. Brother, you just should nobody listen to you. You not black enough. You ain't blackity black. You know, you're not in the struggle, brother. You don't struggle. You don't know what it's like. You know. Now, some people are just like out there. You gotta admit, some people are just out there. It's like, but to the point that if they got a point, you won't listen to them. And I'm talking about black men. See, it's harder to be. It's easier to be Candace Owens than it is Anthony Brian Logan. It's easier. It's easier. Because when women say it, it's all good. But when men say it, brother, it's a problem. Hey, you know, thank both of y'all, fam. So now we got that issue. Because what if you're a conservative and you're right? Well, you just didn't say it in the right way. So I can't, you know, your speech needs to be canceled because you didn't sing it to me in the right tone. I mean, it was so baritone, but I need a soprano. Like, shut up. You know. And then on the flip side of that, shows how crazy we are. Now, if you're a black Democrat, you're a sellout too. Like, now it's like, you're just a puppet. They're two sides of the same coin. They're two wings on the same bird. Like, why are you listening to them Democrats? Don't nobody want to hear what you got to say. You're too liberal. You just want everything you're such a tool. You're such a pacifist. You don't want to do nothing for the black community. What has Democrats done for the black community in the last 60 years? Why should I listen to what you got to say now, what they got to say? Don't talk. I don't need you going to the church and telling me, you know, praise Jesus and he passed the hot sauce and I'm supposed to get your vote. I don't got to hear nothing you got to say. So now, rightfully so, though. Rightfully so, I must say. But guess what? Now, black Democrats don't have freedom of speech because there's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can say. Because now, the only black Democrats you want to hear is black female Democrats. Same thing with the Republicans. Same thing. It's the same old story. So, what type of black male has free speech? Like who? Nobody. Now we can go with the obvious. The pastor got freedom of speech. I mean, yeah. I could say the pastor has freedom of speech. But the pastor dumb. And see, and the pastor became irrelevant. I know people don't want to hear that, but with the pandemic, the pastor became irrelevant because while all these years, pastor was talking about what could you do. God needs to use the congregation to help the church. When the pandemic happened, you didn't hear much about the church helping the congregation. So now pastor can't say that much. Pastor could sell you hope and snake oil, just to make you feel better. But now you're not going to take what he say seriously because, hey, was pastor checking on you during the pandemic? Seriously. Did deacons holler at anybody? Seriously. Did y'all go check on these families? Seriously. You see what I'm saying? Did y'all lower the prices on these funeral costs? Seriously. Because people going through it, just y'all were asking for people. Y'all were asking for people's money, going through a pandemic. Y'all was still, hey man, y'all could still, send me your money. Hallelujah. I know you might have got unemployed, but you're getting paid, so pay the Lord. I mean me. I mean both of us. So now you can still talk Bible talk, but people don't want to necessarily hear it. People don't want to hear it because, like y'all say, God works in mysterious ways. And he mysteriously worked on, trusting the church. So, do pastors have freedom of speech? Somewhat. So since we're going to go from, God to the pastor, let's go to who's supposed to be the head of the household, the husband and the father. Now we know husbands and fathers do not have freedom of speech. Lord knows we know that. Lord knows you can't say whatever you want. You're going to wind up in court. As a matter of fact, if you're a man and you got to deal with the court system, you know what's up. You don't even have the freedom of speech to defend a lie against you. Somebody could lie on you and you could have the evidence, and you don't even have the freedom of speech to go, that's not true, and I can show you. Silence. So now this is what we're dealing with. So do you have freedom of speech in family court? No, you do not. No, you do not. Which I gotta think, and a lot of men in general gotta really give hats off to Johnny Depp, because and really we gotta thank Amber Heard for her wonderful performance in court. Just being crazy as I don't know what. Just can't. I mean, hey, you just can't make a better movie. I think he needs to make a movie about this, and he needs to win an Oscar. Man, he deserves it, right? And he should be able to walk on stage and slap Amber Heard. But that's a whole nother story. But do men have the freedom of speech? No, we do not. There's no way in America do husbands have freedom of speech? Look, how about this one? Babe, do I look fat in this? Does he have freedom of speech to go? Do you look fat in that? Babe, am I still beautiful? Lord. You know, I know a lie about omission is still a lie, but what you want me to do right now? I'm trying to keep a happy home. I just want some peace. So no, he can't say that, you know. Do you look at other women? I ain't never. You know, I'm gonna make you do what you do, baby. Yeah. Like, you're not blind? Yes, I am now. I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing, baby. So, do husbands have freedom of speech? No. You know, do you remember the vows? To love for better or worse, for richer or poor, through sickness and in health, with no free speech till death do you part. And even then, you might want to whisper. You want to talk bad, you got to do it. Was it ASMR? You got to. I really hate this. She get on my mother nerves. Jesus Christ, I hate this bitch. Like, that's how you do it. You know, you don't even have freedom of speech for your husband. No, you don't. So, does that black male have it? So who's next? How about your athletes? What's up, Roger? Long live the habitual line steppers, man. So do athletes have freedom of speech? No, absolutely not. That's why, you know, retired athletes, you know, for the most part, are the ones with predominantly the most podcasts and shows. Let me see who. I think Draymond Green got a podcast that's active on a regular basis. And other player I know that I could think of off the top of my head is Taylor Lewan. He's a white guy. Everybody else, they not saying nothing. You know why? Because the team gonna find me. You know, the team gonna talk crazy to me. Oh man, I might get traded. You know, my contract's supposed to be coming up. You know, they told me, hey man, if I breathe wrong, if I wipe my behind sideways, I'm getting cut. You know, that type of thing. You know, and even with the NBA players, they get guaranteed money. I got my brand. I just can't mess it up. I don't want to say nothing that could possibly be given the wrong way. You know, because and the crazy part about it is, you know, I know we make fun of Kevin Durant for being a little troll online, for having all these burner accounts. But in years to come, you're gonna realize, you know, I had to think about it one day. It's like he kind of smart about that, because he know he don't have freedom of speech. He want to cuss you out just like everybody else do in the league, but he can't do it from his account. He got to get a burner account to say, man, if you don't, you could kiss my mother, you could suck my mother. And man, who is this? And KD, it's me, but I ain't telling you, because I don't have freedom of speech. I can, you know, mess up my shoe deal out here. Don't mess up my endorsements cussing you out. Because I remember, what was the white dude who was on like the Food Network or something? He cussed out somebody in the comment section for talking crazy to him, like on Twitter, and they canceled his show. So brothers know, like the athletes know, listen, man, they took a white dude show from cussing out somebody who deserved to be cussed out. What they gonna do to me? Oh, you know what they're gonna do. Oh, you absolutely know what they're gonna do. Like, it's not a question. It's not a question. What about the entertainers? Do the entertainers have freedom of speech? No. You know, every time somebody talks about an entertainer, they low-key talk about their manager and their handlers and why don't they say anything for the black community? Obviously, because they don't have freedom of speech. Obviously, if they got an agent, the agent like, you can't do this freedom of speech thing, man. If you're gonna help, you gotta help from the shadows, you know, after the check clear. But, you know, through somebody, like, don't you Don't, man, you mean to tell me these brothers can't really help the hood? You got brothers who they can't do it publicly. They could do it privately. They could do it on a low. How come we don't bring attention to all these brothers doing good in the community? They don't want that attention. Some of them, the bulk of them, generally don't want that attention because that's not who they are as a person. But they can't promote what they're doing because guess what? Don't have freedom of speech. You don't think they want to fight for these kids? They do. Do they want to be on the news fighting for these kids? Especially if the kids black? The sponsor's gonna pull out. Network gonna pull out. The agent gonna pull out. The manager gonna pull out. The movie exec's gonna stop. I don't want you in this movie anymore. Just hypothetically speaking, it's gonna stop. It's gonna stop. The fans are gonna not be fans anymore. Somehow your views just you don't sell out as many shows for some reason. You don't get booked at as many venues because it's always something. Y'all gotta remember, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Y'all gotta remember, and this might sound weird, but take it back to when BET had, was it Unrated or The Late Show with the raunchy videos, and when they had Tip Drill, when Nelly did Tip Drill, and they had the stripper, and he swiped the card down her butt, and everybody lost it. And at the same time, he was trying to find a donor for his sister, who I think had she needed a bone marrow transplant or something like that, or leukemia or something like that. And he was going everywhere, state to state, college to college, kind of actually raising awareness. And I want to say it was leukemia. But looking for a donor match. And when that video came out, he would go to colleges. Nope, you can't do it. From that point on, I think he went to Spelman or something. They said, no, you can't do the donor thing because of the video. And I remember him talking about it. He said he felt like he got robbed of a chance to save his sister's life. Because, hey, he said the stripper act told him to do it. He just did it, but she's going to never be looked at bad for that. But it did rob him of an opportunity to save his sister's life. Nobody's saying that he would have found a donor there, but the opportunity was there. But it's free speech, freedom of speech and expression. But, hey, it's not like, if the shoe was on the other foot, could a woman do something similar and under similar circumstances and something be wrong with her sister or brother? They rob her the opportunity? Nah, we don't think that'll happen. So do entertainers have freedom of speech? No. You remember Rick Ross? Does he have freedom of speech? Didn't they take his stuff away from him because he did the Molly line? I mean, no. Look at all the rappers you can think of. All the rappers you can think of, do they have freedom of speech? Absolutely not, because the minute they do something that somebody doesn't like, they bring up that they're rappers and what they rap about, and it's like, oh, see, they're an evil person because they rapped about, dysfunction. It's like, well, yeah, hey man, obviously, you free to say whatever you want, but it's gonna come back to bite you in the butt. They're gonna find the worst song you've ever made to do it. So, do they have freedom of speech? No. No rap line is more hypocritical than we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. I mean, you can't get no more full of than that. Everybody has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can't get more foolish than that in America. First Amendment, everybody has the freedom of speech. Well, shoot, I can't. I can't even get past the all men are created equal part to have an amendment work for me. Like this is where we at. So, just saying. Who else can we speak to and speak about and speak on and say, okay, does this group have freedom of speech? I know. What about Black police officers? Do they have freedom of speech? Hell no. That's what we call a blue shield, right? Brothers can't, it could be something going out horribly in the police force, and brothers know it, and brothers will say it, but you can't go. Can you say it publicly? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Black Serpent Code. Mm-mm. That's why I went from talking all the way to Christopher Dorner. Like, man, who you gonna talk to? The higher ups? Gonna talk to the news? No. Can you say, hey man, this is happening, that happened? No. No. So what are they supposed to do? Just uphold the law and the Constitution, the same one that holds these truths to be self-evident. And wasn't true about the next statement. All men are created equal. So hold these lies to be self-evident. Hey man, and they're supposed to defend the Constitution. So obviously, you're defending it, right? Upholding the Constitution, obviously. Some perverted version of it. But can they? No, absolutely not. Then, what about black people, black folks in the military? What about black men in the military? Can black men in the military be honest and have free speech? Hell no. The military is military. The military tell you right now, we own you. I own you. You want these veteran benefits? Yeah, you better. The only time you can have free speech in the military is if you crazy. If you diagnosed as crazy, because anything you say gonna be viewed as you being crazy anyways. Let's talk about. Look, I'm off my meds today. Okay, he was already diagnosed as crazy, so we ain't gonna take it serious. No way. He just what he said was true, but who gonna believe him? We already got him on paper being a nutcase. So that freedom of speech out there. If you consider sane, do you have it? Nah, not really, man. That's dishonorable discharge material. Hey, tell me if I'm wrong. So then where else can we go with this? Let's see. Okay. Oh boy, this is gonna suck. Well, not really. But what about educators? Black male educators? That's why you don't see that many of them, because you can't be honest with the kids. You can't be honest with the faculty. You can't be honest with the board. You can't be honest with the parents. You don't have freedom of speech. You can't say, hey man, listen man, your kids do. It is what it is. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, we need more black coaches. Even the coaches don't have freedom of speech. The coaches can't, especially the black coach can't cut you out for you doing something dirty. Hey, how dare you? You don't get fired for that. My black coaches kind of be, hey, look, I'm here to get paid, kind of indifferent. Let me get my money here, get a name here, let me move on to the next city, because I already know how this is going to go. Tired of talking, because the kids and the players are hard-headed in the mug, and their families hard-headed in the mug, because everybody got dreams of making it to the league, and you're going to be a complete, utter, douchebag to people, but they got skills, and the coach like, all right, man. All right, whatever. So can you coach him up? Not really, because he don't listen. But can you say it in a way that he'll listen? No. Because ain't no way to say it to him in a way that he'll listen, because he don't listen. You didn't listen to the first thing I told you. He don't listen. And if I tell him what I really want to tell him, where y'all gonna be? Head coach's office, athletic director's office, principal's office, dean's office, depending on if you're in high school or college. You over there snitching. Just snitching. You know what they told my baby? They told my baby da. He can't. He does not need to be in this environment. All right, man. And then you turn around. We need more people that look like us and grew up how we grew up and know how to communicate with us. Yada, 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 shut up. The truth is, that's not what you need. That's not what you need. Because if you needed it, when it happens, you wouldn't have a problem with it. but you got a problem with it. So no, that's not what you need. So does the black male coach have freedom of speech? Nope. No, he does not. I had to bring this one up. Does the rich black man have freedom of speech? Watch this. Does the high value black man have freedom of speech? No, it's gonna be villainized for whatever reason. If you're rich, you're out of touch because you're rich. You're not black because you're rich. You're doing too well to know what black people really think. So when you talk, you're not relatable because you're too rich to be relatable. I mean, okay, you're not real no more. Your bank account went up and your realness went down. I just can't see you no more. You're not white, but you're too green for me. It's that type of mentality. So now we gotta have this issue, right? A whole nother issue. You're not black enough because you're too rich. Excuse me. And here's the sad part. You could be well off as a black man and don't have the freedom of speech, but people have the freedom to tell you what you need to do for them. And you're not and you don't have the freedom to respond like, man, if you don't kiss mama, because you know what? I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you. If you rich and I steal from you, and you come get me, you gonna wind up in jail like OJ. Because how dare you? I gotta sue you for how you can't put your hands on me for me stealing your stuff. You can't cuss me out for me stealing your stuff. I think y'all forgot something. Because the First Amendment is the right, of freedom of speech and the press and, of expression. But the second was the right to bear arms. Do y'all remember the situation that caused Sean Taylor to get killed anyways? For all you football fans who know about Sean Taylor. Y'all remember what happened? Sean Taylor, somebody was stealing his four-wheelers. I believe it was four-wheelers. And he had to chase him down on the four-wheeler. Or they tried to steal his car, his four-wheelers. He had to chase him out in the truck, I believe, to get his four-wheeler. And he had to shoot at the person to make him stop. And then they put him all over the news nationwide like he did something wrong. So he had to get rid of his guns. Because somebody stole his stuff. And then he wound up being hurt and being at home. And he got shot in his own home because he was running around with a knife because they was robbers because, hey, he couldn't have the freedom to bear arms in Florida because they did him so bad in the media. Let me run this one by y'all. Using that same reference. Remember when Plaxico Burress went to jail, shot himself in the leg by accident, And if you see him, I think he was on a pivot talking about that, or I Am Athlete. I forget. I think it was the pivot though. And he talked about, it was an accident, and then Mayor Bloomberg in New York was like, I'm prosecuting him to the fullest extent of the law. But here's a story that they forget about. On that same team, he had another teammate by the name of Steve Smith. He was a receiver. He was pretty cool. He hurt his knee, and that kind of slowed him up. But he was a good receiver. Not the Steve Smith that was in Carolina. This Steve Smith went to USC. He went out, and he went out and he got a driver. They tell you, if you're gonna go out and drink and party, get a driver, limo driver. That way you don't catch a DUI, this, that, and the third. So you don't wind up on the news. He did that, and his driver robbed him. So, I mean, I might be putting a little sauce on this because I don't know what's in Plaxico Burress' mind. But in my mind, I'm like, shoot. One of the reasons Flax went out was like, hey man, my teammate just got robbed recently. So I already know if he got robbed by his own driver, I gotta protect myself. But hey, black men have the freedom of speech to protect themselves. No. Freedom of speech or to bear arms. Not really. As a matter of fact, let's go back a little bit. Martin Luther King had freedom of speech. Malcolm X had freedom of speech. Right. Medgar Evers had freedom of speech. Because black leaders have freedom of speech. Let's see who else had freedom. Alfred King, which a lot of y'all don't even realize, Martin Luther King's brother Alfred wound up dead after Martin died because they was gonna make Alfred the new leader, and he just mysteriously got drowned. He mysteriously drowned, but he got drowned and got killed by somebody that covered it up. So hey, and then years and years and years later, I think it was Judge Joe Brown ruled that the United States government was at fault for the death of Martin Luther King. See how freedom of speech, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna take it a step further. This person ain't even a black man. I forget the white guy's name, but he was a white guy that was a reporter, speaking on Iran-Contra and how the United States was responsible for the crack era, the crack epidemic, because they were using drug money to fund a war. What was that book? Is that the one that wrote the book Behold the Pale Horse? Might be a little off. It's been a long day. But he wound up dead by suicide, shot himself twice in the head or something like that. Yeah, didn't make no sense. But, he was saying, hey man, what is the government doing to these black people? Not the government's behind this thing. So even when people speak on behalf of black people, they don't even have freedom of speech. They might wind up dead. So, what type of black man has freedom of speech? I just want to know. I'm gonna tell you. Let's try another one. I did the pastor, I did the entertainer, I did the athlete, I did the upper class, right? Let's see, how about the middle class black man? The working class, every day, get up and go to work, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 7, 9 to 8, 9 to 9, I got to take care of the family type brother. Does he have freedom of speech? Nope. Say something on the job, you're going to wind up in HR. On top of that, the community ain't trying to hear what he got to say because he ain't rich enough, even though they're not listening to the rich dudes because, they're unrelatable because they're too rich, right? And they sell it out and because they're not giving you a free life for free, and giving you their rich money, and they ain't got nothing to talk about that you want to listen to. So the middle class dude, you too broke to talk to me. You doing good, but you ain't doing good enough for me to listen to what you got to say. So you free to talk to yourself, but not to me. You gonna give me a job somewhere? I would. Man, don't nobody want to be like you. Okay, all right, so okay. So that middle class, hardworking, blue collar brother. You can't say, hey man, the reason why you living like this because you lazy. You don't want to do this work. This work pays. This work pays, but you don't want to get paid because you don't want to do work because you're too good to do the work. I'm beneath you for working. Okay, no problem. The job says, hey, if you say the wrong thing, you out of here. No problem. Okay. All right. So I don't have freedom of speech. No problem. I get it. What about the poor brother, the lower class brother? Does he have freedom of speech? No. People let this fool believe he had freedom of speech, though. Speak, brother. Speak, brother. Brother, speak. The lower class black man was who BLM was built around. That's why all the ladies did the speaking, because the guys who were middle class and upper class wasn't around because they was busy. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by this. The lower class black man is for one, you're not gonna get listened to because you're broke. Period. By the men and the women. But what's worse is the lower class black man and also involves the criminal minded and the inmate. So, you know, that criminal lifestyle is revered, but ain't nobody listening to what you got to say. Seriously. Because you're dependent on everybody else. So do you have freedom of speech? No, because if you're criminal minded and you're into criminal activity, no, you can't say nothing no way because you don't want to incriminate yourself anyway. So you got to shut your own self up for one. So do you have freedom of speech? No. But for two, no, we're just gonna be honest about this. Oh, bad. You know, now I'm getting there, Corey. You know, those dudes, they can't say nothing because they 9 times out of 10 they living with an awful woman. They living off a woman that they living with, rather. You know, they Jody. Did Jody have freedom of speech? No. In his did he have freedom of speech in his woman's house, his baby mom, both of their houses? No. Did he have freedom of speech at his mama house? No. He got nothing to say. Shoot. Melvin didn't have freedom of speech at his mama house, his grandmama house, his granddaddy house, really, but we ain't even gonna go there. You know. Exactly. So who has the freedom of speech? Which brother you don't have it? Let's see. Who else can we go to? You know, we've already talked about the church, the clergy, the politics, the Democrat and Republican. The father. I forgot the obvious. The baby daddy. You see what just happened to Ray John Rondo. And the baby daddy don't have freedom of speech because the baby daddy can't even. The baby daddy said the wrong thing. He can't even see his kid no more. And that's justified. Because I was talking about the father as far as family court, but let's say you forget, before you even get to family court, you don't have freedom of speech to tell your baby mama, hey, watch your tone. Because the baby is going to be held like a hostage, you know, and she's the terrorist. That's why I shout out to Mr. Palmer. Like she gonna hold that baby hostage with a bottle. You know, if you don't say the right thing, if you talk to me any kind of sideways, I'm not feeding this baby. This baby gonna starve to death. Baby gonna look like, who's that girl, Summer Walker, when she had that malnutrition baby. Like, you can't even say, hey, stop starving my baby. Can't even say that. Can't even say that. Because, hey, guess what? Black men are not supposed to have freedom of speech. You can't even, to the point where on Father's Day, guess what? For years, mother was claiming to be fathers. No, I talked about them first. They don't. The only way, I said it earlier, the only way gay men have freedom of speech in the black community is they're talking about black men that are straight. Other than that, they don't have freedom of speech. They don't. Brothers don't. So now what? Watch this. Just thinking about that. Living black men, period, don't have freedom of speech. But as we saw recently, dead black men don't have freedom of speech. You can't. The ancestors, it took your freedom of speech away. Karma took your freedom of speech. Whatever you said. Okay. All right. So you can't. We always got to maneuver and, and I talked about this before, it's the same thing with Martin Luther King. People are trying to make whether y'all know it or not, people are trying to make Martin Luther King's words irrelevant because on two fronts. because people are finding out that I hold, we hold this truth. Not, no, no, no. I have a dream. I have a dream today. The little white boys and little white girls and da 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 da. You know, will be judged on the content of their character. People finding them other speeches now, and now he a cheater. They watched Malcolm X one time and heard a scene that they wrote into the movie with Spike Lee and about, the FBI following Malcolm X. While they were following Malcolm X, they're like, Malcolm X is a saint compared to Martin Luther King. You gonna believe it? The people that work for J. Edgar Hoover, you gonna believe them? We gonna believe it was Jim Crow. Let's be honest. We gonna believe something white people said in Jim Crow about a black leader before you believe anything. You're out of your mind. But black men can't be dead. We can't even rest in peace. In our words, where we were living, be free. Even if they're relevant today. Martin Luther King would have never asked for reparations, but he did. Huh? What are you talking about? Exactly. We got problems, man. Problems. But, does the dead men have freedom of speech? Not even for what they said in the past. No, not even for what they said in the past. Who on the sheet X? Dang, I know the name. I can't even put, because think about it. Khalid Muhammad can't say nothing. People try to erase, I was about to say Farrakhan, but Lord have mercy. Elijah Muhammad, people don't remember anything he said now. You're starting to see interviews with Michael Jackson, just for the record, because he's dead, but they trying to twist everybody's death in some type of way. But that's the point. That's the point. Malcolm X was in jail, so he had a gay lover. So in that way to discredit what was said at that time that's still relevant to the day. So you can't even be dead and have freedom of speech. You can't, we already talked about all the men that's alive that don't have freedom of speech. You can't even be dead in what you said in the past we view as free speech. That's crazy. It's crazy, but it is what it is. It's just a reality. So teachers can't do it, police officers can't do it, military personnel can't do it. Well, I was going to be trifling when I said this, but there's no way to get around it. The inventors can't do it either. Let me explain something to y'all. Some of y'all don't know. If you worked for a company and you were an engineer, or you're an inventor, you're able to create something. So you're working at a company and you're in their lab or their tool shop and you create something. If you create it in their lab or in their tool shop, they own the intellectual property because you were on their premises using their materials, even though it came out of your mind. So they have the intellectual property that came out of your mind. And the blacker you are, they give you a raise. They give you a promotion. They pay you more off of the residuals, off of the millions, if not hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars your inventions create. They'll give you a raise. But you better go home and make that stuff and patent it and then bring it and then do that work, and then they implement it and they're gonna have to pay you. That's what you're gonna have to do. And can you fight against that? You don't even have freedom of intellectual property. You do, but you don't, because people figure out and finagle ways around this stuff, So do you have that? Do you have that type of freedom? too late, L.A.R. You too late, player. I'm 51 minutes in, and now you ask me this question, player. No, so I'm naming the types. I've named, heterosexual, homosexual, clergy, political, rich, middle class, poor, teachers, coaches, husbands, fathers, baby daddies. Ain't like, are they free to talk? It's all good, fam. Who's free to talk? Who's free to brothers alive don't have freedom of speech. Brothers dead don't have freedom of speech. Nobody has a freedom of speech because we actually use our freedom of speech. Comedians don't have freedom of speech anymore. Rappers don't have freedom of speech anymore. I'm just saying. And anymore, they didn't have it back then. Let's just be honest. Because any little thing you can say, you get rid of it. That's where that whole stereotype of I'm too real come from. I might have said something that ticked somebody off, and they ended my career. That's where that comes from. Some people just hide behind that because they're not really good and they have a bad attitude. But it does come from a real place, though. Let me see. Used him as a reference earlier. Freedom of speech. Let me think of another black man, because I really, I'm trying. I'm not trying to make it up and say everybody does it, but I can make an argument why they don't. That's the sad part about it. And it's a legitimate argument. Now, I got it. Black elders don't have freedom of speech because ain't nobody listening to them no way, because they feel like black elders failed everybody. So even if they have legitimate gripes and complaints, I ain't listening to what you got to say. You can't tell me nothing, because you already was too dumb to realize the situation that we're in currently. Back in the day, you already sold us out as you didn't think ahead. You're too stupid. So no matter what you say, it's irrelevant. The current grown generation, do we have freedom of speech? Absolutely not. We just gonna look prophetic. That's what happens when you're in a generation and you're saying things that the generation doesn't want to hear, or they'll cancel you for. They'll wait until you're gone, or they'll wait until 5, 10, 15, 20 years pass and go, man, you know what I'm saying? I remember they were saying that. I remember they talked about it. I don't know. Why you didn't listen to them? Ain't nobody trying to listen to that fool. We didn't know. Oh, okay. They were saying it, but that was a little too ahead of the time. We was trying to turn up and be lit. They was crackpots. They didn't live. They had the freedom to talk, but we ain't got the freedom to listen. We listen to that stupid stuff. We wanted to have fun. Oh, okay. And now, what would be the third group? The young black male. Do young black male has freedom of speech? No. Because ain't nobody trying to hear them because they ain't lived enough. They saying, but ain't nobody listening. They're filibustering before they even talk. They're ultra woke and they ain't saying nothing. And it's like, yeah, I hear you talking, but you ain't saying nothing. As a matter of fact, you're trying to figure out what you're trying to say, why you're talking. So honestly, I'm not paying you no mind because this is stupid. So do the youth have a freedom of speech? No, nobody's taking them seriously at all. You're gonna show up a black male with blonde dreads or green tips on them, in a kilt with some Air Force Ones. I'm not listening to you. You're out of your mind. No. Oh man, that's crazy. So do they have freedom of speech? Nah. I'm free to express myself. Yeah, but your expression is stupid. we have freedom to shut up. That's what we got. We got the freedom to shut up and just walk off and say, yeah, I told you so. Now it might sound a little pessimistic, and somebody may be able to debunk everything I said. Somewhat, because what I'm saying is, our free speech has a whole lot more consequence than everybody else's. See, we get in trouble when we're speaking a truth that everybody else can see. So that's not freedom of speech. If we say the sky is blue, they're gonna try to cancel us. That's not freedom of speech. If we say, hey man, this system doesn't work, we got a problem. Yeah. So that's not freedom of speech. Everybody can speak their mind and say what's on their heart and be honest. But if you can't even be honest in this country, and it doesn't have to be like, and it might sound weird to have to say this, but even back when Colin Kaepernick did the kneeling thing, and they went all left, and it was stupid. It's supposed to be freedom of speech and expression, and the people got all in the fit about that. And it's like, man, that's dumb. That's dumb. That's what you got upset about? Seriously? Out of all things that you got upset about? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And exactly. So, that's the issue. But could Jordan Peterson be black and have freedom of speech? No, like that's the thing. Think of a non-black equivalent. Think about that. Can Jordan Peterson be black and have freedom of speech? No. Can Simon Cowell be black and be Simon Cowell? No. Can Joe Biden, George Bush, or Donald Trump be black and have freedom of speech? No. If you put a black male on anything, a black heterosexual male on anything, they can't. No. Hey, I don't disagree with that, but I'm just keeping it to what it is today. Matter of fact, I've been on here for almost an hour. So, my 1 hour of freedom of speech got to go. So, I appreciate all y'all for rocking with me. But I got to shut it down and have a great night. So y'all enjoy the outro and take care of yourselves. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
This looks like a job for Superman.
I do this,
Spoken from the lips of the young or the old, bear of me.
Yeah, gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way.
I guess I'm taking off the cake through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, cause when I walk I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the kings of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you should follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. So what, we had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke, then again, it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I'll finish it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you for coming out, listening. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.